I'm going to pick all the conference championship games in Division 1 FBS football, and it goes as follows. I apologize for looking it up because I cannot memorize all this stuff. Obviously, the championship games are either on December 5th or December 6th. And all the times listed here will be in Central Time, just to make things easier and faster. In addition, I'm not going to even mention the rankings because it's just showing the college football playoff rankings from last week. Okay, the Conference USA Championship game. Kennesaw State at Jacksonville State. 6 p.m. CBSSN on December 5th. Jacksonville State's favored by 1.5. Those two, they did play against each other November 15th, and Jacksonville State won that game 35-26. It is so hard to beat the same team twice, but it's at Jacksonville State, and that's why I'm going to go with them in this game. Now, the next game is Troy at James Madison. $6 p.m. on ESPN. James Madison's favored by 22.5. There's an outside shot that James Madison could make the college football playoff. The only way I would think, guaranteed, is if a 5-loss Duke team wins the ACC. That's probably one of the easiest ways, other than hoping for somebody in the American to lose. But at this point, I think they're going to say the American champion gets in no matter what. It's more like the ACC at this point. If it's not them, it's James Madison. I'm going with James Madison in this game since it's at James Madison for sure. Now, this is the battle of two coaches that are going to respective Power 4 conference jobs. North Texas at Tulane. 7 p.m. on ABC. North Texas favored by 2.5. Honestly, North Texas is 11-1, while Tulane is 10-2. And neither has played each other this year. So it is interesting. I'm going to go with Tulane because they are the home team. That's the only reason. If this game was at North Texas, I would go with North Texas. And Tulane's used to more of the spot compared to North Texas. Now, the Mountain West title game. And I do not think there's a shot for UNLV, even if they do win this game, to get into CFP. UNLV at Boise State. 7 p.m. on Fox. Boise State's favored by 3.5. I know this has been not as good of a year for Boise State. They're 8-4. And UNLV has a new head coach, and they still won 10 games. And I know, and the only thing that concerns me is the defense for UNLV is not that good. And they lost to them pretty bad last time when it was at Boise State, 56-31. Maybe it's a little bit closer, or way closer in general, but I cannot go pick against Boise State. That is simple. Now, the Big 12 title game. BYU versus Texas Tech. And this is a neutral site game at A&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. And Texas Tech's favored by 11.5. Obviously, both of these teams faced each other this year, and BYU got crushed. 29-7. I'm going to go with Texas Tech here. Look, BYU had a great run, and maybe you get in the college football playoff even with the loss, but I don't think you win this game. You have to start faster than you did against UCF. You were down 14-0. That's the only thing that concerns me for BYU is the slow starts. And I just don't see Texas Tech losing this game. For sure, the winner is going to go to the CFP. It's more like, is the loser going to be in it? That's the only question. Now, the MAC championship game. 11 a.m. on ESPN at Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan. Miami, Ohio versus Western Michigan. Western Michigan is favored by 2.5. Western Michigan did play Miami, Ohio earlier, October 25th, and Miami, Ohio won that game 26-17. It is so hard to beat the same team twice. That's why I'm going to go with Western Michigan, but anything could happen in this game. This is going to be close, I think. Now, the SEC title game. Georgia versus Alabama in Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Georgia. As of right now, Georgia's favored by 2.5. Georgia was a home team last time again when they played Alabama, and they lost. It was back in September 27, 24-21. I admit, Alabama may not be as good at a neutral site or a road game. But at the same time, I can't trust Georgia either. It's a toss-up game to me. I guess I'm going to go with Alabama. Outside of that loss to Oklahoma at home, they have given me no reason to pick against them. And I do think both teams are going to make the playoff for sure. It's more like who's going to, if Alabama does win, they have to move up enough to host a playoff game or get a bye. If Georgia loses this game, forget the bye, I think. If Alabama were to lose, then it becomes a little bit interesting as a 3-loss team. Now, I would call this the championship game of all. Though you could debate that with Georgia and Alabama if you want. But it's what, like, AP poll-wise, 1 versus 2. Indiana versus Ohio State, 7 p.m. on Fox. And this game is played at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, Indiana. Ohio State is favored by 6.5. So pretty much a home game for close to a home game as you could get for Indiana. It's in their state. Maybe this game is going to be close. And I admit I was wrong about Ohio State losing to Michigan last week. I admit it. And it just seems like Ohio State is on a different level compared to Indiana. It's not to take away from Indiana. And both of these teams obviously have not played each other this year. I just don't think Indiana's going to get over the hump against Ohio State. So I'm going with the Buckeyes. And last one. Duke versus Virginia. 7 p.m. on ABC at Charlotte, North Carolina. And Virginia is favored by 2.5. Yeah, a 5-loss Duke team got in because of tiebreakers. Obviously, this has been a dream season for Virginia. Who would have thought that this time a year ago with their head coach? And he's definitely turned it around. There's no shadow of a doubt. Now, Virginia has played with the food a little bit in the past. But they beat Duke at Duke. 34-17 on November 15th. I do think this game will be closer. So give me Virginia to win this game, even if it's close. Obviously, if Virginia wins, they're going to make the playoff. If they lose, the ACC could forget the playoff entirely. Even as an at-large from Miami, Florida, who did not even make the title game, they could be skipped in place of James Madison if they were to win. So we're going to have to wait and see what happens in all the championship games. So anyways, if you like this content, hit the like, subscribe button. See you guys later on the road to 800 subscribers. Goals, ultimate goal is 1,000 more. Some of my money. This course, like video. Comment video really helps YouTube background. So more people can see it. Sharing the video does help as well. So more people could watch. And if you're watching and not subscribed, hit subscribe button for the notification bell as well.